Shallow Dive is a segment of the show where rather than taking like a 6 episode, 1 hour each episode podcast look at something, we just give it 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, so it's not a deep dive, it's a
shallow dive.
shallow
It's
dive.
a Wikipedia.
It's a quick brief. It's a brief skim.
It's a skim, yeah.
It's a skim.
And today...
MLMs, multi-level marketing, that's what they renamed pyramid schemes.
Yeah.
Because pyramid schemes were getting a bad name. But there's lots of them out there. You would 100% have been approached by somebody who's in it. I read an article with some absolutely shocking statistics. You don't even have to look very far online to find it. But we wanted to talk to someone who's actually been involved in an MLM and how it felt to be in that vast majority of people that come out the other end with nothing.
Yeah. And Anonymous joins us this morning for our shallow dive into MLMs. Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, okay, so an MLM, we won't say what MLM that you were involved in, what multi-level marketing scheme, but you've given up on it now.
Yeah, totally. Gave up on it about a year and a half ago.
How long, because I've found this amazing little article about MLMs, how long were you involved in it?
I should say far too long. But in reality, it was about 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
If you don't mind me asking, how much money did you make in those 2 to 3 years?
Oh, to be honest with you, it was probably only around about $500. Absolutely crazy.
For 2 to 3 years' work?
Yeah, exactly. And I think the thing is that you get sucked in so badly, and that a lot of the money that you make, you end up having to reinvest in your own business.
Yeah, because you're encouraged at the top, aren't you, to invest financially into it? Was that the case?
Totally. Yep. 100%.
So how much money did you take into it initially when you first got into it? How much money was invested?
Okay, so it probably ended up costing me around $2,000.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't sold that way, but the situation was that, you know, it was a matter of, you've got to use the product, you've got to have the product in order to sell it.
Yeah.
And then so you're also having to buy the product that you're selling to other people.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so if
they
you
can like be a product of the product.
Yeah, right. And so if you're not selling that product, you're also left with all this product
Exactly.
that you've paid for.
And then did you have to do the awkward thing of messaging your friends and family to try to sell it?
Oh, my God. Yeah, you wouldn't believe it. At one point, you had to actually, I was so close to reaching the so-called next level. And it was like at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, you know, midnight close off. And I had the person above me, like, messaging me like crazy, contact your family. I'm like, who the hell contacts your family at 10:30 at night?
No.
And, you know, my mum would be like, who died? But, you know, in reality, at the time, my husband at the time and I ended up spending, get this, another $500 to get me up to the next level.
All right.
And what happens then is that you've got to try and maintain that level. So you end up stressing yourself to pieces.
What reward did you get for reaching that next level?
It was some kind of like, I can't even remember what they bloody sent me. I think I even gave it away to someone, but it was a piece of jewellery or something.
So you spent $500 to get to the next level, which got you a piece of jewellery that by the sounds of it wasn't worth $500.
Exactly.
So what did the person above you get for you reaching that level? Because if they're calling you, putting the pressure on, they obviously benefit from you going up a level as well, right?
Totally. So they get a bigger piece of the pie. You know,
Holy shit.
And it's just, when you look at it from the outside, you think that's absolutely crazy. They encourage you to go to, you know, sales conferences and things like that. You know, you won't be able to reach your goals and dreams if you don't attend, and people who do attend succeed. So you end up spending more money to go to these conferences.
And how much do they cost? How much do these conferences cost?
You know, you'd be flying from New Zealand to the Gold Coast. You'd have your accommodation.
So when
you'd
you
have your conference fee.
Right. So when you say that you spent $2,500, does that include the conferences and the airfares?
Hell no, that was my startup fee.
More.
So at the end of 2.5 years, you made around about $500. How much money would you have spent to be part of this for 2.5 years?
Oh, my God. I would honestly hate to think, but I was probably, to be honest with you, it could have been 10 to 15 grand.
So,
what did your husband think when it just sort of wasn't starting to see some profit?
Yeah, well, now he's my ex for a reason.
Okay.
What ended first, your relationship with him or the relationship with the MLM?
Pretty much both at the same time.
Holy shit.
And I would say that he used to call it a cult.
How far down the pyramid were you? Were you bottom level trying to work your way up so there was a whole lot of people above you, or were you mid-range?
I got to level 2. And spent that money to get to level 3 and dropped off that after 3 months of stressing big time.
And then how did you get out of it? How did you find your way out?
Oh, literally, I just let things run out, and I just pulled myself away from people. I shut myself off social media.
Wow.
And it was interesting, these people that were your so-called friends involved in the business, how they cut you off. It's kind of you're not doing that anymore. So
I know you said you got jewellery when you went up a level, but what were the ultimate goals at the top? Were they the Mercedes? Were they the...
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
And how many people did you know with the Mercedes from MLM?
Yeah, 2.
2 of how many? How many did you meet or talk to in all that time?
Oh my goodness. So many people. And I still see some of them now.
Oh my God.
And, some of them still struggling. I see one of them has got themselves a Mercedes. But in reality...
Would they have spent the equivalent of a Mercedes to get there?
I reckon they would have.
I've seen docos and read articles and heard lots of experiences very similar to yours. And look, I don't know if anyone's got a positive version of it, but what would you say to, it's predominantly women, isn't it, who may be getting lured into this? What's your advice?
My advice is to stop and think. Is that they will use the fact of self-help and self-development and all of those, taglines. They'll use that to get you into the business. And they'll tell you that, you work from home and that you'll have all this free time. And my advice is to stop and think and talk to those closest to you about it. You don't want to lose those people that are closest to you, not over money, It's just not going to grow on trees. Or be thrown out of Mercedes window as you're driving down the road.
It's so good that you can have a sense of humour about it, because a lot of people, if they invested 2.5 years of, like you said, extremely stressful, financially burdening situation, not a lot of people could at the end of it.
Exactly.
No.
Well, you know what? I believe all of this stuff is lessons, and if I can help someone else, avoid that lesson, then I think that's a good thing.
I think you've
love you, Anonymous.
You've definitely helped some people this morning, I'm sure. Anonymous, thank you so much.
You're welcome.